Greetings. Welcome to Sex, Race, and Class. My name is Dr. Jonathan Grant, and I will be your professor, instructor for this semester for Sex, Race, and Class. Um, so with this video, we're just going to talk about the semester, what you can expect, just give you a good introduction and an overview of how this class is organized, how this class is structured. Okay. If you have any questions about it as I go through everything, you can always email me or you can message me and I'll get back to you. Um, One of the things that I want to say is what we're going to go over today with this video is the simple syllabus as well as Canvas. So we're going to talk about the simple syllabus. That's where, your syllabi is now and then your Canvas page where you will be navigating and getting 99.99% of the information for this class. Okay. So let's go ahead and get started. You know that your meeting location is online. My email address is j.grant@unf.edu. So that is where you can email me. If you decide that you want to come on campus, to see me maybe for office hours, or if you just happen to be there and you just want to stop by. My building that I am in is building 51, room 2223, the second floor of the social science building. My office hours are from 10 a.m. to noon and then 3 to 3:30 p.m. all on Mondays and Wednesdays on campus. So that's where you can find me. However, if you are not on campus, you can't reach me on campus. It's fine. I am also available via Zoom at those times as well. So um, it's perfectly fine for you to be able to log in on Zoom and you can come into the office hours there if you can't make it on campus. If you can't make it during those times, it's okay. Just email me or inbox me and we can set up another time. We can set up another Zoom, a Zoom call on another time, or maybe if I happen to be on campus and you happen to be on campus at a certain time, we can meet then. So, it's no problem. We can always set up additional dates and times. Um, you can read the catalog course description, and I'm not going to read everything off the syllabus. I'm going to encourage you to read the syllabus for yourself and go into detail, but I am going to touch on the major parts of the syllabus. So this class is designed to introduce you to the sociological study of the issues around race, sex, and social class. And in this course, we're going to examine issues that face, U.S. citizens today and how these issues are interrelated within sex, race, and social class. And particular emphasis will be on how these problems are dealt with and sometimes not dealt with in our society. Every person on this earth is different from everyone else in one or more unique ways. And while we can be very distinctive in some of these ways, sociologists argue that we all belong to some larger group, right? We all belong to a racial group, an ethnic group, a gender group, sexual identification. And so these identities help us define our social location and influence the way that we understand and navigate the world. So what this class does is it homes in on three major social identifying factors, which is sex, race, and class. And so it is through these constructs and that the way in which we explain these constructs, explain these theories, and support them, this is how we make meaning of our individual lives. So hopefully by the end of this course, you'll have a better understanding of your own life. You'll have a better understanding of your own identities as it relates to sex, race, and class. All identities that we embody to some degree, right? Things that we experience or that we identify with to some degree. And so understanding sex, race, and class gives us a deeper look into the ways society has created spaces of privilege, but also spaces of disadvantage for certain groups of people. So we're going to talk about that. Many of us occupy both of those spaces at the same time. All of us, to some degree, occupy a space of privilege and a space of disadvantage to some degree, regardless of your race or your gender or your sex or your religion or whatever, or class. We all occupy these spaces intersectionally. And so we're going to talk a little bit about that. Um, so as complex we said that, so hopefully as we interpret these ideas, it will lead us to have a more sympathetic view to those people who occupy particularly spaces of disadvantage. It allows for us to feel things from a different point of view. And the purpose of college and the purpose of really education is for us to help understand our world and the world around us and even other people's worlds. So you're going to hear things and see things that may not relate to you, but relates to somebody else. And so it's very important for us to have an open mind and an open understanding of not just our lives, but the lives of people around you. And there's going to be things that you may not believe that actually happen, but they do happen. They just may not happen to you or to people that look like you. And so it's important for us to be very open and understanding and respectful to all of these different ideas and all these different things and allow them to help challenge us and help grow us. So during this course, we will take time to discuss these identities in isolation. And as the semester continues, we're going to show the ways these locations intersect with each other and discuss how these interconnections challenge traditional ways of being, but also leads to people resisting and resulting in hopefully new paths of acceptance for everybody. So that's the overall objective of this class. Um, Definitely look at these learning outcomes. These are the things that I want you to be able um, to take away from the class. Describe the sociological study of race, sex, and social class and the concepts of that and the core concepts sociologists align with them. Explain some of the theoretical perspectives of sex, race, and class. And so we're going to talk about the theories that help us understand sex, race, and class a lot better. Analyze how race, sex, and class operate across major social institutions. So we're going to talk about how these things connect to major social institutions. Um, we're also going to talk about how dimensions of social life interact with one another to help shape individual outcomes as well as group outcomes. We're going to look at some empirical research. We're going to look at that relate to sex, race, and class so that we know we're just theoretically hypothesizing, but this is actually grounded in scientific thought and the scientific method. And we're going to communicate analyses of culture and diversity clearly and respectfully in written and oral form to help us make sense of these various identities. Um, then you have some additional learning outcomes that will be directly connected to what it is that we are going to discuss and talk about in the class. And so you'll see this on your modules. You'll see the direct connection between the topics, the assignments, and the learning outcomes. So you know exactly what's happening. Lectures, assignments, discussions, and exams will help students evaluate how race, sex, and class reify whiteness, patriarchy, heteronormativity, while shaping the unique experiences of marginalized people in the United States. And so we're going to discuss that, and that kind of gives you an idea of how I'm going to assess you through these lectures, assignments, discussions, exams, etc. Here's your course week schedule. So this just kind of gives you an idea of the schedule and what we're going to talk about every week. And we're going to stay on the schedule pretty heavily, right? It's going to be very organized in that way. So you can guarantee that this is what we're going to talk about. If there's any minor changes, there's not going to be a major change to the class, but any minor changes where I may have to take out something or put it in, I will let you know ahead of time. But um, As I go on, I'll show you how the class will be organized and how you can view it. So then you can clearly see what you have to do for that week. So it shouldn't be any questions in terms of what you have to read, what you have to study, what you have to engage in, and how long you have to do it before it's time to do this material, engage in the material for the next week. So but if you do have questions, you can always reach out to me during office hours, or you can send me a message, or you can shoot me an email, and we will make sure that we handle that. Um, Let's see. So you have your course schedule, that's that. Course policy. So online learning. Online learning can be difficult to navigate. I will help you the best way I can. I will for sure help you when it comes to making sure that you see or know where things are located on Canvas. But if there are any issues with Canvas in terms of like technical issues or things like that, I can't really do much about that because I have no background in IT. Um, Sometimes I wish I did, but I don't. So you will have to reach out to IT, the UNF personnel in charge of technology, the IT department. I'm sure they'll be more than happy to help you. In terms of the class, this is what you can expect. Every Monday, you can expect a lecture video to be uploaded to the module for the week. You will watch that lecture video, unless I tell you there's no video for the week, and then there's just assignments. Cool. But along with the lecture video, you are required to follow along using the PowerPoint for that week's module. So there's going to be a lecture video, then there's going to be a PowerPoint. And so it's all just like being in class. You're going to watch the video, you're going to follow along with the PowerPoint, you're going to take notes, because the PowerPoint is just going to kind of give you the overall ideas. And then I'm going to talk in the video about what those ideas mean and give you examples and further examples so that you have a clear understanding. And then you're going to have an assignment. Oh, well, with this, you're also going to have readings. So you're going to have readings for the week. So you're going to read those readings, you're going to watch the video, you're going to take notes, and then after you do all those things, you're going to participate in the assignment. Okay. And all assignments for the week will be available on Monday, and then they'll be due the following Sunday. So you'll have a week to do those assignments. Okay. That's pretty much it. That's for the most part, that's kind of the class. Don't depend on Canvas to remind you of when assignments are due. To perform well, you want to make sure that you do those things. And I just laid it out for you in bullet point form. So told it in paragraph form. Now I'm giving it to you in bullet point form. Read the readings, watch the lectures, follow along with the PowerPoint, take notes from the videos and the PowerPoints, and then complete the assignments. You do that. I've never seen somebody do that successfully and not pass the class. Just, I've never seen it before. Um, if you do those things successfully, I don't want to guarantee, but I've never seen anyone not pass doing those things successfully. So just make sure you don't. Um, Makeup exam policy. Makeup exams are for students who have an excused absence. So if you have an excused absence for an exam, then and I will determine whether a personal emergency qualifies as excused, and you must provide official documentation related to personal emergency abuses, sorry, not abuses, absences, like a doctor's note, legal documentation. If you are not able to provide that documentation, you may not be able to make up the exam and you may receive a zero. So make sure if you're not available or you're not submitting assignments, please make sure you are completing the exam. That's huge. Okay. Huge. Again, makeup exams are offered at my discretion. You should let me know when you will be back to class and make an appointment immediately. Don't let too much time go past when it comes to your making up these exams, okay? So do what you're supposed to do when it comes to that. Late assignment policy. So if you submit any assignment, excluding, if I don't think you have a final paper in this class, but if you submit any assignment Up to 24 hours after the deadline, the highest grade you can receive on that assignment is a 75. If you submit the assignment 24 to 48 hours after the original deadline, the highest grade you can receive is a 50. So you still have a window of turning in assignments late. Okay, you still have a window. But assignments submitted 48 hours after the original deadline will not be graded. So you have a 2 day window and then there's a zero. Now there is a penalty in that window. So there's a penalty 75, 50, and then none. So this policy does not apply to if you have a final paper. It doesn't apply to quizzes. It doesn't apply to exams. It only applies to, other assignments. Quizzes are not allowed to be submitted after the deadline, and policies regarding late submissions on exams are to be announced. I will adjust this policy only under situations involving a medical or legal emergency. And how this policy applies to these situations are subjective and up to my discretion. If there are certain cultural or religious observances that may prevent you from completing work, please let me know ahead of time and I'll be more than happy to make certain accommodations for you. Um, so again, if you don't submit those big assignments, you may receive a zero and that could really, really hurt you in the course. Okay, so please make sure that you are submitting the assignments, submitting them on time. You have that 2 day window. It's better to turn it in during that window than not at all. And then after that, it's a zero. This is no exception for graduating seniors. So please pay close attention to the syllabus, lectures, reminders, and videos. Um, I don't want anyone to think that I don't want you to pass the course. I want to see everybody succeed. It is not in my interest to see you fail. I want to see you succeed. I want to see you graduate and go on and do extremely well. I get nothing if you don't. So it is good for you to do that. And I want to do everything I can to help you, but I can't make you do the assignments. I can't make you pay attention. I can't make you watch this video. You have to do that on your own. So if you put in that work and you show that you are putting in the work to do well, I will do the very best I can to help you get across that finish line. This course is lecture centered. Most of your grade will depend on your active engagement with the material. Um, all assignments will be submitted via Canvas unless otherwise stated. Do not email me any assignments. Okay, don't do that. I have a lot of emails, so it'll probably get lost unless I give you strict instructions to email me something, unless we have had a conversation and I say, hey, shoot me this email on this day, on this time, then that lets me know to look out for it. But other than that, do not email me any assignments. You can complete an assignment as soon as you like, right? But if you do not complete the assignments, the discussions, the exams, and the essays, you will run a high risk of failing the course. Okay, so all assignments must be submitted in Word or PDF format. Any other format can result in a zero. Always make sure you refer to the syllabus, you check your modules, and again, don't depend on Canvas to remind you of anything. I often get students that say, Canvas didn't remind me. I didn't know I was supposed to do this. This is your warning. Okay, you cannot depend on Canvas to remind you. You have 3 exams, you have quizzes, you have assignments. Those exams will be made up of multiple choice questions, fill in the blank questions, true or false questions. Also, there may be some essay questions in there as well, and so some analyzation there. So, you definitely want to also look out for that to help ensure that you know the material. Um, all yes, short essay responses are very important on your exams. The exam will not be comprehensive, but only based on information covered from the last exam to the current one. You can choose to complete the exam anytime in the week, but we'll have 90 minutes to complete the assignment once you start the exam. So the exam will be available. It will not be comprehensive. It'll only be based on information covered from the last exam to the current one. And that is what you will have available, right? So for exam one, it'll be everything from the beginning of class to exam one. Then exam two will be everything from exam one to exam two. And exam three will be everything from exam two to exam three. So it won't be comprehensive. All right. So just keep that in mind. Um, Reading quizzes, very similar, right? I will give you a reading quiz throughout the um throughout the semester. You'll have different reading quizzes, 5 to 10 questions that will be over the material covered. Each question will be worth about 10 to 20 points. The purpose of the quiz is to ensure that you are completing the readings and are prepared for class discussions. They will address basic content in the reading, and it's important for you to complete the quiz before the allotted time. So very similar. You'll have a quiz for the week. You will you will open the quiz, and then once you open the quiz, you will have a certain amount of time to complete the quiz. Okay, you'll open it, you'll have a certain amount of time to complete it, and then after that, it won't be available. And if you don't complete the quiz, then you will receive a zero. So you have it for that week. Once you open it, you have the time, and then after that, it won't, you won't be able to to turn it in. You'll have a zero. All right, so then we can look at our assignments. So you'll have assignments where you will have to listen to the class lectures and then complete the class assignments to receive a grade. You are expected to have read the material before the lecture. Then you'll have the week to complete the assignments, and then the assignments will be due that following Sunday. Again, just another reminder, do not depend on Canvas to remind you of when assignments are due. You will have discussion board assignments. So in a discussion board, there are instructions for how I want for how I want a post to go. So if you are required to do a post, please follow the instructions for the discussion board. Make sure that your post is thoughtful. You must include information from the reading or the lecture. That's very important. Make sure you look at the rubric so that you know exactly what I'm looking for in a discussion board. Make sure that you post a minimum of 150 words. Make sure that you are attempting to introduce some type of new point or idea or piece of information to further the discussion. Use correct grammar and vocabulary. Include information from the lecture and or reading. That's the main thing that's going to get you your full points. Show me that you read, show me that you looked at the lecture, that you read. There goes your points right there. And it should absolutely be in your own words, not just a bunch of quotes or readings and stuff thrown together. Put in your own words and really reflect on it, okay? Feedback and explanation of grades on assignments. My goal is to get grades back to you as soon as possible. If you want to know your grades on a specific assignment, please see me during office hours. We can absolutely discuss it. If you have a question about your grade or want to discuss how you received a score, reach out to me. We can talk about it during office hours. I'll be more than happy to discuss it in detail. I'll also give you feedback. I'll give you explanations on grades when it comes to you reading them on the comment box. So you'll get feedback, you'll get explanation, you'll get details. I may even upload an audio where you could actually see and get feedback on your grades as well. However, if you want further feedback, reach out to me and I will give you further feedback on your assignments. Before you submit an assignment, double check that you've met the requirements outlined in the assignment instructions. I will grade some assignments manually and give online feedback again directly. Um, let's see. Extra credit. Generally, I don't offer extra credit in classes, but if I do, I will send them out to you via an announcement on Canvas. Okay, I'll send them out to you there. I will be available during my office hours if you have any questions about the lectures, the assignments, or any information related to class, and I will respond to emails and Canvas message in 24 to 48 hours, Monday through Friday. So that's when you can expect responses. Okay, and then if you um If you don't see it or don't get it or something like that, just feel free to reach back out. The textbook we're using is Jenny Stuber's textbook, Exploring Inequality, a Sociological Approach. So that is the text that we'll be using for the class. And any course materials or readings, see the course schedule, see the modules, see and in the modules, you'll have a direct connection to the files where you can find the material. Okay, so it will be available to you, right? Um, this course permits you to use artificial intelligence, AI, right? So you can use chatbots, text generators, paraphrasers, summarizers, solvers to get guidance on your assignments. So as long as you're doing this in an ethical and responsible way, I have no problem. AI is here, it's here to stay. It's not my favorite thing as a professor, as a teacher. But when it's done correctly, I think it can save time. I think it can be a great use. I think it can be amazing when it's done correctly. A lot of instructors and teachers and scholars just don't want it to replace people actually critically thinking. And it is very easy to use AI to be lazy. So don't do that, right? Use it to help kind of give you an idea, give you a guide to summarize, and then use your own thinking, use your brain exercises so that you are actually creating something that can be innovative and useful. You can think of these tools as ways to help you learn, but not to entirely create work for assignments like discussion board posts, presentation slides, etc. It's more of a guide, right? Um, so this means that you must not use AI to replace your own thinking. You use only AI tools for tasks that are appropriate for your learning level. Do not use it to replace your own analysis or to avoid engaging with the content. Cite or explain any AI tools that you use. Provide the name of the tool, the date of access, etc. Cite any AI tools that you use properly. Um, be transparent and honest about how you send the AI tool and how it contributed to your assignment. Explain what you learned from the AI tool and how it verified your accuracy and reliability. Um, yeah, it's good for ideas, right? How to structure certain things. But again, putting it in your own words, using your own knowledge, this is what's going to help you be successful, right? You are accountable for any errors, and AI makes a lot of mistakes. AI is not perfect. It is a machine, but it is not perfect. Make sure you check and edit your output. If you discover any inaccuracies or inconsistencies, you should address them. If I suspect that AI is done in an unethical way, I do reserve the right to respond to that with some level of suspicion. There could be a warning, it could be loss of points, it could be a low grade. So I do reserve the right to do that, and you have the right to dispute any claims of unethical AI use or plagiarism or anything of that nature. Using AI is in an unethical or irresponsible manner, like copying or paraphrasing the output without citation, using the output as your own word without verification, is considered a form of academic dishonesty and can result in a low grade. If you have any questions about what constitutes ethical and responsible use of AI tools, consult with your instructor, consult with me before submitting your work. Um, and this is actually from an AI. Um, Part of this is from the AI guidelines at North Carolina State University as a teaching resource. So just using this to kind of help you understand, like, this is how you cite, and this is how you give credit to wherever you're getting either some information or all information from. And so part of this what came from North Carolina State University. If there's any disruption in the continuity of instruction, please understand that I will get to you as soon as possible. If there's a hurricane or a pandemic or any unforeseen event, it is up to you to look for an announcement, to look for whatever is going to come that from either the university or from me directly, and we will help get us all back on track. Academic integrity, you know about that. Please read that and understand what constitutes as academic misconduct and what the consequences are. Accessibility accessibility statement for the if you need to reach out to the Student Accessibility Center for any information, you can. They'll guide you along in that way. All the academic resources are available. The Writing Center, the Smart Center, Student Academic Success Services are available for you so that you can utilize those for any reason. Um, you can record lectures. Obviously, these are recorded. If you need to record it for your own purposes, you can record and that's fine, right? Um, Let's see. Then the Title IX statement, please make sure that you are reading the Title IX statement so that you can understand that you are protected from any misconduct or harassment or assault or anything related to that. If those are things that you are dealing with, there are services available on campus for you to utilize. So please make sure you do that. If you have any questions, you can always reach out. You can email me, you can message me. I try to get back within 24 to 48 hours. Um, uh, and there's always office hours that you can reach out to me. You can Zoom or you can come in person. And yeah, also, so we have gone over the simple syllabus. Now we're going to shoot over to the Canvas page. A lot of this information is on the Canvas page directly. There's going to be some differences, but this is me just kind of showing you or helping you navigate the actual Canvas page, right? So we have gone over simple syllabus, and now I want you to click home. And under home, um, you should see basically a message that says start here. Well, actually, before you do that, let's look at the home page. So the home page where it says welcome to Sex, Race, and Class, everything that we talked about in terms of what the class is about. We read that already. That's here as well. Course outcomes and objectives. We've talked about that already in the syllabus and the simple syllabus, but that is also here directly in front of you. Professor information. This is my name. This is my email. Everything we've talked about, my office hours, Zoom link right here. Um, the required text, we've talked about that, but that is here as well. So all those major points that we talked about in the simple syllabus, it's also right here on this home page. If you need to refer back to it, then you can go ahead and click start here. And this is where you will see further instructions. So it says at this point, you've already reviewed the simple syllabus. You've already reviewed the information about the instructor and office hours, which is on that front page, that first page. Know that this is not a self-paced course. We are actually going in line in a sequential order with deadlines, with details, with assignments that build on each other. So you want to make sure that you are paying attention throughout the semester. Um, this is my name. This is just a little bit about me, where I got my degrees, where I attended school, some of my research and my publications, if you're interested in that. My first book is being released February 2027. It can be pre-ordered now if you choose to pre-order it. If you're interested, I can give you the information on that as we get closer to the date, but it will be out February 2027 by Temple University Press. I've traveled the world, teaching, talking, research, speaking, interviewing, being interviewed, about topics along these lines, about race, about place, about social justice, about African and African American people, about inequality, educational inequality, things related to sociology. So yeah, those are some things I do. I have hobbies around music and writing. I like to write. I like to be creative. I like to watch podcasts. I love to travel. I love stand-up comedy. I love to laugh. So yeah, those are just some of the things about me. But if you want to know more, you can always talk. I'm actually very much an extrovert. Well, I'm kind of becoming more of an introvert as I get older. But uh but yeah, I like people. I like talking to people. I like meeting people, especially students. So Yes, feel free to reach out. Learning modules, there'll be 16 modules, each correlating with the week from the semester. So make sure you look at the outcomes, the links, the instructional materials for that week. And please submit the assignments before the due date. Most assignments, if you keep scrolling, will be submitted in person or online. Really, mostly online. The only reason I say in person is because it's a chance that, let's say, there's a special case or a special situation with you, and you feel like you want to submit something to me in person, or you want feedback on something, and you want to submit it in person. You can do that, right? We can work that out. So it just depends, right? There could be a chance, but obviously this is an online course, and you'll submit courses online. Um, your grade in this course will be determined by a point system, and of course, 90 to 100 is an A, 80 to 89 is a B, etc. Um, for an overview of these assignments, check your syllabus and also look at the modules for the grading criteria for the instructions for the rubric. We've already talked about grades and feedback. Make sure you read the minimum technology requirements and computer skills that you need for this course. Make sure you read the accessibility and privacy policies as well. Continue to scroll. The digital literacy skills, feel free to read those. Academic integrity, we've talked about that. Land acknowledgement is very important. We acknowledge and honor the Makama people whose original homeland that we all are on right now prior to the European um, expansion and colonization of the Americas. And so it's always important to acknowledge the people who were first on this land that we are on right now. Course expectations. We talked about that already. Make sure you review the simple syllabus, the course schedule, the instructional materials. Bring a laptop, pencil, pen, paper device to every class and complete the assignments before the due date. Okay, those are the things you want to do. If you can click next, it says communication and etiquette. You can just scroll down and look at how you are supposed to um, engage on the internet, how you can reach out to me, how the instructions for reaching out to me, and just, yeah, important ways around communication. If you click next, you'll see help and support. So feel free to recognize these places and spaces where you can receive support from the university, as well as support from myself if you need it. If you press next, again, it says let's get started. So this kind of gets us right into the course. So you should have reviewed the information about the course, about your about how to interact with your classmates, about your professor. And so now we are going to update our profile and set your notification preferences. So this is what you do as a student. And then we go into the first assignment, which is a syllabus and class information quiz. So this is probably one of the easiest assignments that you will have for the semester. Um, Really, I just want to make sure that you read the syllabus and that you know how this class is going to function. So there's a quiz. You're going to complete that syllabus, complete the quiz. You can find the answers on the syllabus, find the answers on the class information quiz. Um, if you don't do well, you can take it again. You can keep taking it until you get the grade that you want. And that's it. You do have a time, so make sure you do it before the deadline. But yeah, just complete the syllabus and class information quiz so that I know and you know how the class functions. Um, Introduce yourself on the discussion board. Yeah, tell us a little bit about you. Easy, easy, quick assignment. We're just kind of getting an intro and getting started on everything. So with that being said, you can click next and it'll take you to, some of the help support stuff. And then you click next again and boom, you are right there at week one, overview one. And, and this lays out what you're going to do for the week. So in the beginning of every week, You'll have a lecture. You'll go to that module. You'll click on that week, whatever week that is, 1, 2, 3, 4, all the way up to 16. You're going to do a basis, have a basis of what we're going to talk about for that week. Then you are going to look at the module and objectives for what we're going to cover for that week. And then as you scroll down, you'll see readings and lectures. So, for week 1, you obviously have an intro video. There's also another one about chapter 1 in the book, Can't We All Just Get Along? PowerPoint. So you're gonna read that PowerPoint that goes along with that video. And then also chapter 1 in the textbook, you're gonna read Can't We All Just Get Along? You're gonna watch that video, and then you're gonna complete those assignments. And that's it. That's what you do every week. That's gonna be the same process. And then if you click next, it should take you to week 2. And there you go, right? So that is that, right? If you have any questions, you can reach out to me. And now I'll just go through the major links so that you understand what um, what you are supposed to do, and where these links are. Um, when you click on them, what you're supposed to do or what they're meant for, announcements. If I have any major announcements, I'll send them out to you on through an announcement. Um, Assignments. These are where all of your assignments can be located. Those assignments will also be on the module, so you can just go straight there. And then when you click on it, it'll take you to the assignments here, and you see how they are laid out in terms of point percentage. Discussions. This is where you will find the discussions that you are supposed to participate in. Also, you see a section that says optional resources. So optional resources, this discussion board is not graded. It is just a space where the professor and students can upload optional resources. I also upload that in the module as well, where you believe students could possibly benefit from some of the things that we're reading and understanding, the topics that we're discussing in class. So you can upload material, courses, book titles, articles, websites. I do reserve the right to remove any material that I think is harmful to a specific group or may not be appropriate for this course. So I do reserve that right. However, I don't foresee us having that problem, but I have had that problem at another university with some students. So I always want to put that in there just in case. But I believe you all will not. I don't think that's going to happen here. Then you have grades, and then, well, that's for me. And then you can see your grades. Pages. You won't really need to go there directly because all of the major pages are directed from the other links. But files is important because although I will have the reading, if it says chapter 1 textbook, obviously you read it in your textbook. But if there is a PDF or if there's a link, I'll give you that link there. So you don't really have to go into files, but if you want to, you can. But it says readings, it says PowerPoint lectures, it says those things right here as well. So, you can go there if you need to find some things. But again, all you really got to do is just click on the modules and it's right there. Those things will be right there. The old syllabus isn't really used anymore here on Canvas. Outcomes, you don't really need that. Rubrics is here. These are your rubrics, but they will also be directly connected to the assignment, so you'll know what it is that you have to complete, and how you complete the assignments. And then when I give feedback, sometimes I'll take concepts from the rubric and put in there so you know what you did right, you know what you did wrong. But then also, I may add in some of my own reflections. I may do some audio and tell you, hey, this is where you went right, this is where you went wrong, and you can, you know, um, respond in that way. Quizzes are here, but the quizzes will be under your assignments, under your modules. So you'll be able to click and then it'll take you to your quiz. Um, Here you can go directly to the module. This is probably one of, if not the most important link on your Canvas, because this is where you will find all of the information for that week. And then by the end of the semester, you'll see all of the modules from that semester. Okay. Um, let's see. Yeah. Then you have collaborations, you have attendance. Um, you also you don't have to worry about that. Yeah, there's no other link that you have to worry about until you get to Zoom. No, not Zoom, sorry, Simple Syllabus. And that's the only other one right there that I think is of major importance to you. And that is, you want to visit that throughout the semester just to help ensure that you know what um is happening and where we're going in terms of the class. So that should be it. If you have any questions or comments or concerns, please reach out to me via email, via message. I'll get back to you. Um, Hope you have a wonderful semester. If I can clear up anything, let me know. And I hope you learn a lot. I hope you grow. I hope you enjoy. Even more importantly, I really hope you enjoy the class and that it helps you grow individually as well as academic. Hope you have a great day, great week, great weekend. See you soon.